Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me. I'm obviously beyond fired up to be back. You guys are well aware that I was here in 2019, so to know that I've got the opportunity and a greater role to be a part of a program like LSU and a program that's capable of doing the things that we did in 2019 and an offense that was capable or is capable of doing what we were able to accomplish, then it's obviously an opportunity that I couldn't say no to, and I'm just beyond excited to be here.
Hey DJ, Billy Embody with 24/7 Sports. Welcome back. How much did Jake lean on you in this process as far as feedback on what coming to LSU would look like for him, and then how much did you guys kind of talk with Joe about the opportunity as well?
Yeah, well, obviously I've got some insight there just being here in 2019, and I know Jake leaned on a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have been involved in this process, but there was communication between the two of us, and I had, as you can imagine, nothing but great things to say, about this place and this program and the people that are here. So, there was definitely conversation. I know between him and I, there was obviously conversation with Joe as well. So, I leaned on him as well, just thinking about different things going into it. But, there was constant communication throughout the process.
Hey DJ, hey Brody Miller with the Athletic. I mean, you were obviously an OC at 28 years old, and maybe that didn't go to plan. But I guess what did you kind of learn from that 2 year experience, and kind of 3 years later to be here?
Yeah, it's I think sometimes in a lot of cases you can learn from some of the hard times more than you can learn from the good times, and it's kind of crazy to look back and think on, maybe it didn't necessarily go as planned, but to walk into an opportunity where I was able to be a part of that at William and Mary, and obviously there was a lot of good that came from that experience, and then walk into LSU where you're part of one of the greatest, arguably the greatest offense that college football has ever seen in a 15-0 team, and to be able to see what it takes to be playing at that level as an offense and as a team, and then to go to the NFL and to be able to experience that at the highest level. There was just a lot that was learned in that time to see what it takes to be that good. So those were clearly the biggest takeaways for me that have prepared me for this opportunity and to be back here at LSU.
Hey DJ, Jacques Douce, WAFB TV here in Baton Rouge. Just curious, I guess none of us know what spring football's going to look like or what it's going to be, but how anxious and how excited are you and Jake to do some things in spring, and just, I guess in a broad sense, what do you want to accomplish in spring football?
Yeah, no, I'm fired up. I mean, it's one day at a time here. Obviously I'm looking to get on the field with these guys and get the ball rolling in that sense, but as Jake touched on, it's relationships. It's building those relationships with the staff and the players leading up to that. So, my focus is there right now and getting to know the players, because there's, even though I was here just, a little over a year ago or less than a year ago, there's still a lot of guys that were young or that we recruited that are now part of the roster that I'm looking forward to getting to know better, and learning and getting to know them from that aspect, so we can figure out what they're capable of on the field and putting them in position to succeed.
Hey, DJ Brooks Cabina from The Advocate. I'm curious, from your time here as an analyst in Baton Rouge and then working with Joe Brady again, Carolina, now that you're the passing game coordinator here, what are the things that you're kind of taking from those past experiences now that you're in this role? And what do you feel like you get to do now that you're in this position?
Yeah, I think what Joe and Steve were able to do in 2019 was maximize the talent that we had. The talent is always here at LSU. And I think with Joe and just observing it and being around it and being a part of it, that's the biggest thing, putting your players in position to succeed. Using the whole field from sideline to sideline, making all 11 defenders defend the field, and then putting your players in position to succeed, like I said, taking what the defense gives you, and maximizing the talent you have, keeping it simple, but applying pressure on the defense at the same time. So between that at LSU in 2019 and this year with the Panthers, I think that's the biggest takeaway for me, and that's what I look forward to doing with Jake and the rest of the staff and the offense that we have right now.
Hey DJ, Michael Cobble from Channel 2 here in Baton Rouge. Good to see you back in the Red Stick. Lots of questions. I don't really know where to start, but the one that intrigues me the most is just William and Mary. I've seen that campus. I've been to Williamsburg. Just how were you all able to, I guess, get this ball rolling, take college football by storm last year, and now continue this evolution of where the offenses are kind of moving in college football? What was the genesis of all that?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at William and Mary, Mike Tomlin, Sean McDermott, amongst others, it's got a pretty rich tradition of coaches out there that are doing really well. So I just think the combination of, unfortunately, I wasn't good enough to necessarily, I wasn't talented enough to keep playing, but the passion was always there. And to go to William and Mary, you kind of have to be pretty smart. So I think when you combine the smarts with the willingness to work and the passion for the game, I think you can see that with Joe Brady, and hopefully you can see that with me. And that should take you places. And usually, you walk away from William & Mary, you see a lot of people, the graduates, the intangibles that those people possess. A lot of them apply to doing well in life and doing well as a coach. So I think those things have carried over, and you just take it one day at a time, one job at a time, and and that usually adds up and leads you to good places and great places like LSU, that I'm obviously excited to be a part of.
Hey DJ, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. Traditionally, the last couple of years, the passing game coordinators kind of handled third down and red zone here. I'm just curious, over the last couple of years, what you've been able to learn about, what it takes to be most efficient in the red zone and also on third down.
Yeah, well, I think on third down, you have to be able to protect first. We can come up with the best concepts in the world, but if you can't protect and give your quarterback time to throw the ball, it's irrelevant. So I think it starts there with having a great protection plan. And then obviously the concepts, putting your players, again, like I said, in position to succeed based upon what the defense has given you, based upon what their trends and their tendencies are, those types of things. And then in the red zone, it's the same type of thing, just having a plan, preparing, and putting the work in and figuring out what the defense likes to do down there. And again, just putting your players in position to succeed when it comes down there. You got to get a little creative and, look into it maybe a little bit more than you would in your base downs, your core plan to, I think, to do well down there.
DJ Scott Ravelay, also with The Advocate. As you well know from your college experience, it's not just about schemes; it's about players. You're leaving the NFL where it's all football, and here it's at least half the battle is recruiting. Let's talk about recruiting, the importance of it. If you have a philosophy, kind of players you'll be looking for, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it as a battle. I think of it, Jake and I were talking yesterday about how rewarding it can be. Getting to know the families, the parents, the players, in developing that relationship and seeing them grow as men, 18 to 22-year-olds. Obviously, there's a lot of growing they have to do, not just on the field, but off the field. So I think just looking for high-character players, beyond the talent, is first and foremost in the type of families and the background that they come from that can help build this program and help this program win. And then obviously you want to seek players that are playmakers and are looking to make plays and possess the talent as well. But in my mind, it's those types of things, the intangibles. I think that's where you start, and that's how you build a great offense as well.
Hey, Coach, this is Shea Dixon with 24/7. Welcome back. Congrats.
Appreciate it.
I was curious. You had been in college for so long, obviously, that spending a year in the NFL, what's the kind of biggest thing you learned, whether it's for how you adjust coaching the players or how you adjust going about, being a coach and your weekly schedule? What kind of jumped out at you about
I think my time at William & Mary and obviously LSU prepared me pretty well. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of guys that you're coaching the type of talent that is going to be seen in the NFL. So really it wasn't as much of an adjustment on that end, coaching those types of players in the NFL. As we just talked about, the recruiting, class checks, those types of things, you obviously don't have to worry about at that level. But really I felt very prepared being in Carolina with the Panthers because of my time here at LSU.
Hey, Coach. This is Josh Sibley with Louisiana Gridiron Football. Coach Peetz kind of mentioned speaking face-to-face to players. And you kind of touched on recruiting earlier. Have you spoken to any players that might have opted out earlier in this season or might be on the bubble about leaving for next season?
Yeah, I'm just concerned with the players that are here right now, right here, right now. Those are the guys that I've talked to, and I'm looking forward to getting to know, and that's where my focus is.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, DJ, Brooks again from The Advocate. You mentioned third downs a little bit earlier there. Asked Jake about this earlier. It seems like with any scheme, a lot of it comes down to in-game adjustments in the game. And you were obviously a part of that in 19. How have you and Jake kind of talked about organizing that? You talked a little bit about how that's part of the plan as well, preparation before games. What is kind of the strategy there?
Well, I think you have to know your answers ahead of time. You know, it's the preparation right now that adds up during the season. You know, if you're preparing for something going into a game, and if you guys remember in 2019, I mean, the first half of the season, or excuse me, the second half of the season, it was like we saw some defenses I don't know that anybody's seen before. So it's just you have a core set of your offense, and you lean on that. And when you see something maybe you haven't anticipated, you know your answers already because you've prepared. You've prepared in the off season. You've prepared in the summer, and the players know it, and you can go to those things. So to me, it just comes down to preparation and knowing your answers.
Awesome. That's all we got time for. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Good to be back. Go Tigers.